Thank you so much for joining us here today, and we're here to talk about childhood trauma, which is quite a heavy topic. It's one of those topics that people don't like awakening to. What is the impact of childhood trauma later in life?
I can say 80% of the people who come to me for help, the root of their problem is childhood trauma. They may now be adults, but the roots, when we begin to dig into what really happened to them, is childhood trauma. I know there are psychologists out there that may understand this topic from a psychological point of view, but I'm completely taking a spiritual angle here. And my understanding and revelation through the Holy Spirit is this. The reason why most of the problems that we have today in our adulthood stem from childhood is a child is at a very fragile level of the soul. A child cannot analyze and try to understand. When you hurt a child or when a child sees something, they don't know how to filter it. It goes directly to their soul. Now, children are like humans, power source. When there's so much power, electrical power, the switch turns off. The switch is not damaged, the appliances are not damaged, but it turns off because there's so much of power. That's what happens to children. When they see something or hear something or they are hurt, what happens to them is they switch off. So they switch off, and a lot of people stay in that switch off mode. It's called protective mode. They don't want to be hurt again. First of all, everything is being internalized. Children will first blame themselves for anything. When something goes wrong, they will first think it is their fault. So a lot of people in life are completely switched off because of things that happened to them during their childhood, the trauma. And when they meet with people, people begin to trigger them. They become very reactive because they are still switched off. So a lot of people, their entire life is just been reactive. They do not want to deal with the traumas, but they are hurt inside. What they say to people, how they treat people, what they do is all covering that particular trauma that happens to them.
And it's also about forgiveness as well, right? Like, to forgive is a really hard emotion.
The reason for that is when people think about forgiveness, they think of it in the wrong way. The thought is they are hurt. This person who has afflicted them with this pain is responsible. But forgiveness actually is not the word I'm sorry. It is actually a result of something that happened first, and that thing is healing. If you have been hurt, the first thing that you have to do is to seek to be healed.
It's interesting that you draw upon the self-healing process that many people don't want to recognize, because they feel like there's this hurt, this deep level of hurt that they carry with them. And then when they carry that hurt, it just gets more and more deep-seated.
The reason why people don't really look into healing is because healing itself hurts. For one to be healed, the first thing that happens is first to be hurt. But running away from the pain that comes with healing is just more hurt. It's like if your leg is broken, for it to come back to normal, you will have to feel pain first. It has to be pulled and brought in alignment before they can put the cast over it. But if you are escaping that pain, then for the rest of your life, you're going to be limping.
I think the pain of just limping your entire life is what the real problem is, you know.
The real problem.
But a lot of times you don't recognize that it needs to be healed first.
That's right.
Before you reach forgiveness.
Yes.
Why are people so scared to forgive others?
You will be surprised that when you heal, you will forgive without knowing it. I came from a very broken home. My dad's action hurt me so much, and I never thought I would ever in my life have a place in my heart to forgive my dad until I truly got touched by the Holy Spirit and the Spirit of God taught me what it is to forgive. And when I started seeking healing, deep inner healing, where I had to face myself, all I felt for my dad is what is called compassion. I felt so sorry for him because I could clearly see his own wounds. I could see his hurt. You know, when people are hurt, they can just hurt others. There are 5 levels before you get to forgiveness. The first thing is you need to think about knowing the truth. Know your pain and the source. The second thing, you seek healing. The third thing, you seek self-forgiveness, because there are a lot of things that we carry which we have blamed ourselves, but we are not mental. And the fourth one is when you test what forgiveness is for yourself, you can give it to people. You cannot give what you do not have. If you cannot forgive yourself, you cannot forgive others. The final step is compassion. Compassion gives you the broader picture of even the person who hurt you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Joseph, for shedding light on liberation and the joys of forgiveness.